The Kremlin in the early hours of the morning. A drone is seen drifting down towards the dome of the Senate building overlooking Red Square and exploding next to a Russian flag. There were no injuries, but the Kremlin was quick to accuse Ukraine of an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin ahead of Victory Day celebrations. President Putin was safe, said the Kremlin. Russia reserved the right to retaliate. With President Zelensky arriving on a visit to Helsinki, Kyiv strongly denied any responsibility, saying it meant no advantage on the battlefield and was most likely organised by Russia as a pretext for a terror attack on Ukraine. President Zelensky said Ukraine's counter-offensive would begin soon, and he was confident they would get the fighter jets they needed, but not Finnish Hornet aircraft, said his counterpart.
We couldn't give up the Hornets before we get the new ones. And unfortunately, the Hornets at that time are, well, practically finished.
But we like your aircraft. Just you to know.
Yep. They are good ones.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody knows it.
In Brussels, the European Commission announced a €1 billion plan to boost the capacity of the defence sector in order to meet the target of giving 1 million artillery shells to Ukraine by year end.
This is a high-intensity war that probably no one forecasted. It's true that, how should I phrase it, we are lacking of this kind of munition to support Ukraine, but everywhere, not only in Europe.
Ukraine's counter-offensive, which appears to be imminent, is being heralded by the increased incidents of apparent sabotage on Russian soil. Here, the derailment of a freight train on a region bordering Ukraine for the second day in a row. The psychological offensive may already have begun.
Well, let's go live to Brussels now, where Tony is standing by for us. Tony, what are we to make of this extraordinary event?
Well, it was an extraordinary incident and it seems a very unlikely effort if it was indeed an attempt to assassinate Vladimir Putin. You could see the explosive charge was fairly small, and a cynic might say that there was a camera trained on the dome of the Senate building just in time for the drone to strike, and it didn't look like a fixed camera. It looked like an impromptu filming of the event. So the Ukrainians are obviously saying that that's nothing to do with them. Volodymyr Zelensky a short time ago in Helsinki said it was not a Ukrainian attack, and Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, has said anything that came out of the Kremlin at the moment he would take with a very large pinch of salt. Now, it should be remembered, of course, that in the first 24 hours of the Russian invasion, there were widespread reports of a Russian team of assassins who'd come in to assassinate Volodymyr Zelensky on that opening day, and they failed in that mission. But tonight, the Deputy Secretary of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, saying it was now time for Russia to eliminate President Zelensky and what he called his clique. So this could all be seen as a ratcheting up of tension and rhetoric ahead of this eagerly anticipated counter-offensive by Ukraine in the coming weeks.
OK, Tony, thanks for that.